What's going on, Facebook? What's up, YouTube channel? This is Sky Chase with Cut to the Chase. I wanted to come in and weigh in on the snap thing. What did I call this tonight? Snap talk. I wanted to come in and weigh in on the snap situation. I'm at my home studio tonight, as you can see. I didn't make it to my other studio. I'll be there maybe tomorrow, hopefully. But I was very concerned and I wanted to come in and I wanted to kind of like weigh in. I've been observing a lot of what's been being said and I've been just like really concerned about what's been being said. There's some truth and some non-truth. I started this channel because I wanted to dispel the myths because people come in, they give a lot of like wrong information and they have people all up in arms about things when they should not be. But I'm just very concerned. 2018, I wrote a book, and in the book, I talked about the SNAP program, and I talked about the policies mainly. Um, I used to work at Department of Social Services when I lived in Annapolis, Maryland. And so, in order for you to determine eligibility for the federal government programs, you must know policy. And you must know policy inside out and backwards. And so in 2018, I moved to Houston in 2013. 2018, when I wrote the book, I really addressed it in the book. I also wrote a letter to the president in my book called Dear Mr. President. Joe Biden was the president, I think, at that time. But I was very concerned because to watch a culture of people be demonized for doing what wealthy people do all the time. I do not know any business, and I am a business major. I have a coaching academy where I certify people um, in the area of their gifts and talents to start a business so that it could be natural. So it really bothers me that a culture of people, they're being demonized for doing what the wealthy do all the time. I do not know one business. I have not read one business book or case study of a business who scaled without subsidy. Subsidy from the government, contracts from the government. That is just how you do business, and it's smart business. But this just so happens to be, um, for your food. And I think the thing that bothers me about it is that the policies are written in a way to trap you. It really is because if you're on SNAP and you get a job, if you get food stamps and you get a job, they're going to take your benefits. They're going to take because they treat food stamps like money. It's dollar for dollar. So if you make $1, they're going to take $1. So most of the time, this is the reason why people get just jobs. There's a difference between a job and a career. And so they take these little Walmart jobs. Mind you, Walmart gets a subsidy for every person that is on assistance of any kind. They get a subsidy. I believe it's $5,000 for each person that they hire in their company. So subsidies are just the way you do business. Elon Musk gets subsidies for his business. Trump, we talking millions of dollars in subsidies. Now, mind you, food stamps are not a benefit. I don't know why they keep calling them benefits. It's not a benefit. You get a benefit when you work. Is there a work requirement? There's always been a work requirement, but the work requirement is not enforced. the policy incentivizes you getting pregnant and having multiple children because you get more and more, deeper and deeper, basically into the hole. So they don't know that there are other services that is provided to help them to become self-sufficient. So the self-sufficiency program does not deal with the barriers. Okay, so if you get a job, they're going to take your medical, they're going to take your food stamps. Now, because the federal government allows each state to distribute or administrate their programs the way that they see fit. So, for an example, I lived in Annapolis, Maryland, and if you get a job, they allow you to work and still get your food stamps. They're called transitional food stamps. So you're allowed to get your food stamps and you get transitional food stamps for maybe like 5 months, meaning that your money does not count against your benefit. So you're able to take those 5 months and when you're working to set that aside and not spend it so that when you finally transition fully into no food stamps, because most of the time if you get a great job, you're pretty much not going to qualify, unless they raise the amount that you qualify for. Now, when I worked at social services, there were people that were coming in that were business owners that was applying for food stamps. And if you were upside down means that you have more bills than you have money coming in. And so a lot of them, the businesses, they were struggling. So they would come in and apply. Of course, they had to bring their tax returns and all of the, information that was needed to calculate how much they were going to get monthly, but they qualified. So a lot of people that qualify for these programs, these are working what we call, or what they've termed, the working poor. And so, why is one culture being demonized? Because they're taking advantage of a subsidy. Now, mind you, yes, there's going to always be people that are going to defraud the system. That's any system. They're going to defraud the system. But why penalize everyone? And I think that for me, I think what really bothers me about this whole thing is not the fact that just that I know policy, but to see a president in the midst of everything that's going on, blame the other side when there is money set aside for crises such as these, that all he has to do with a stroke of his pen, say, okay, we're going to, in the interim, while we're coming to a decision, we're going to go ahead and release those funds. But yet you're tearing up the East Wing and spending $300 million in the face of 42 million people. Like, that has to be absolutely the lowest, cruelest thing that a president can do, or anyone can really do. It's almost like, he's rubbing it in your face. And so I think what my concern is that I really want us as a people to come together. I think that we can do a Uno reverse on this whole situation. I think that we can really make this count. I think that this is the time, if not in any other time, that we need to come together. It is time to pool all of our resources because they have literally pulled the rug out from underneath you. And so, I'm from the frame of mind of when I see my enemy trying to destroy me, I will not give you the satisfaction of winning. And so we cannot allow them to win because clearly they want us to fail. And so I don't want us to go and steal from the stores. Because really, think about it. Just really think about it. The food in the stores are poison. It's poison. It's not good for you anyway. You know what I mean? And so why even bother? We're going to have to just go back and think about, how did our ancestors get through the toughest of times? How did they get through, slavery? They came together. When I was growing up, around this time of the year, my grandmother, she made soups. Good soup too. Good soups. To the point that I wrote a book about it and dedicated it to her. She made soups. Why? Because soups kind of last you, like you can make a soup on Monday and it tastes really good. Like most of the time, I don't really like leftovers, but some things taste really good leftover. Soup and collard greens. Collard greens taste so good the second day. They take, because all of the juices and seasonings whirling around and it'll settled in and yum yum. Soups are that way. Like soups always taste better the second day. So she would make soup and we would have soup the next day and then maybe lunch the next day. So when you make soup, it'll last you, you won't have to cook till like maybe every 3 days. You know what I mean? So I really want us to stand down. I want us to stand down. I want us to gray rock the government. What does gray rock mean? When you're dealing with a narcissist, the best way to not feed into what they're doing, how they're trying to stress you out or how they're trying to, distract you, is to ignore them. Ignore them. Because why? Food stamps are an award, they're a grant. They're not an entitlement. They're not a benefit. And so what I really kind of want us to do, I want us to tap into our creativity. Because why? Necessity is the mother of invention. That's why on my Facebook page, you'll see me posting a lot about the culture, a lot about inventions that were stole from our culture, from our ancestors, and from our people, because we were placed in a position of necessity. And when you're in a place of necessity, that's when your creative juices, that's when your talents, that's when everything, your resilience, your intelligence, that's when it comes to the surface. And that's what I want us to pull on. I do not want us to give the government the satisfaction of begging them, because they're trying to get you acclimated to, because we're really on the beginning, we're in the beginning stages of a depression. I've been saying that for a little minute now. Just like when we were in a recession and nobody wasn't talking about it, then 2 years went by. This is my major. I study economics. I study economics, in school, and I study biblical economics. And so these things have a pattern to them. And so I want us to really not give them the energy. And I want us to galvanize. It is really time for us to galvanize and really come together as the brilliant people that we are. Everywhere I've been going over the last couple of days, every place that I've gone, I've been talking to I just been walking up to people. Well, I do that anyway. I just been walking up to people saying, hey, we're gonna stick together, right? We got this, right? We're not gonna trip about this, right? We're not gonna go ballistic over it, right? And it's like, yeah. Everybody's saying the same thing. No, hey, we got this. We used to this. This is a piece of cake for us. Everybody I talk to is like, we got it. I be talking to people about the soups. You can make the soups. I even was talking to people about, how about we do barbecues? Like we just take turns. You know how much we love the barbecue. We love our barbecue. How about we take turns and barbecue? You barbecue on Monday, I do it on Tuesday. It don't take a lot for children. Make them some little hamburgers one day, hot dogs the other day, some baked beans, and you know what I mean? If we come together, we can make it through this. We can make it through this and send a message to the government that, okay, cool. You don't want to give it, you don't want to give it to us, cool. We will find another way. And I really want us to have that posture about it. I don't want us going to stores, taking anything, because the food is no good. I don't buy anything. What do I buy from Walmart? Some juice, maybe. Meat, I'll never buy meat from Walmart. Don't nobody know what that mystery meat is. Most of the products in these grocery stores are poisonous. They're not good for you. And they're owned by corporations who we need to probably stop purchasing from. And I was also thinking maybe it's time for you to fast. Hmm. Ever thought about that? Maybe it's time to push back from the table. Maybe you just been eating just way too much. Maybe it's time to just, focus on just feeding the children, and you maybe just fast a couple hours of the day, and maybe pray to whoever you pray to, but pray, because we need to be doing that more than ever. If you could see a president who can't even dance, like you can't even dance, and you creating a ballroom in the midst of this situation, like really, like you got to be kidding me. Like you have to be kidding me. And so I'm just so concerned about how we are going to handle this situation, because it's enough of us. It's enough of us. If we just stick together, we got this. And another thing I want you to do is I want you to check on your seniors. I want you to check on your seniors, because a lot of times when you have people who are diabetic, they have to eat before they can take their insulin and things like that. And if they don't eat and if they don't take their insulin, they can go into a diabetic coma. So I really want us to stand down. You know what stand down means? Do not give them any energy. Just like we haven't been going out there marching, because they want an excuse to call in martial law. They want an excuse because apparently they need free labor for the prisons from the research and the statistics that's coming forth. Nobody is committing crimes and not locking anybody up. So they need to lock people up. I also want you to take into consideration, I don't know if I should say this. I don't know. Hmm. I made a phone call to some politicians. I'm gonna just put it that way. I made a phone call to some politicians because I normally volunteer in my community, and I normally work with different ones. And I made a phone call and I said, I'm available. What do you guys got going on? What are you putting together for the people? For November the 1st, to help feed the community. I got crickets. They said we don't have anything in place to feed the people. And I said, why not? And they said, this is the consequences of those that didn't vote. This is what happens when you don't vote. Now, I've been rocking the vote since I was a teenager. And I'm not going to tell y'all how old I am right now. But before I could vote, I was out there campaigning and talking to people about voting. So I've been hearing a lot of things that people have to say, from the oldest of the old to, the college students, and the like. And you have some people who understand the importance of voting, and you have a lot of people who feel like their vote just don't count. They're going to put into office whoever they want to put into office. And um They said to me, we don't have anything in place, and this is the consequence of people that don't vote. And I said to them, well, some people don't understand, that their vote is important, and they don't think that their vote really counts, that they're going to put to office. Because this is what I've been hearing forever from a cross section of people. And they said, well, they should vote anyway, just to see if their vote makes a difference. And I said, well, in time of crisis, you're supposed to put all of that to the side. You're supposed to put all your differences aside. Your family need to put all your differences aside, and you're supposed to come together and help each other as the human race, because we are the human race. It's not about black, white, Hispanic, Asian. It's the human race. We are all human. And all of this division, Democrat, Republican, this is about division. Those are two, feathers on the same bird, two wings on the same bird. So to keep us divided, and to keep, someone to pointing the finger and the who's to blame, is very immature, is very irresponsible. And that's not what we elected you for. That's not why we elected you. And so I think that it's time for us to think really long and hard about the voting process and who we put in office. Because as you can see, it's not just about the president. It's about your city council, your state representative, your council at large, every position all the way up to the president. You should be rocking your vote, because clearly they are not budging. I was heartbroken when I heard that. I just couldn't even believe my ears. I have worked side by side with these people. This man has taught me how to do campaign managing. I have managed a campaign for someone running for city council, and you mean to tell me you don't have anything in place? I've been out all day long, me and my son, and I just got in the house, and I have been wanting to do this video and to voice, my concern about the situation, because I am very concerned that if we don't stand down, they are going to have their way and be able to send in, martial law. It is clear that we are at war. The American people are at war. I don't know whether you realize it or not. Congress is not doing what is Congress doing? See, the checks and balances of the government are in place so that a dictator cannot arise. There is only one king I know, and that is the King of Kings. And so that's the purpose of having Congress and having the Department of Justice. Those are our checks and balances. I don't see no checking and balancing going on. Do you? I see somebody just got carte blanche, because if the government is shut down, who's to stop the president from doing whatever it is he wants to do? Because those executive orders, they're not laws, they are orders to other government agencies that trickle down to the American people. Really, the executive orders are a way to circumvent the system. And so I don't think that, I mean, I understand that we know that this is a dire situation, but I want us to understand that don't nobody have to give you anything. It is an award, it's a grant, it's not a benefit, and it's not an entitlement. And so it was great while it lasted. You don't want to do it anymore? Okay. So now it's time for us to really get down to the brass taxes of this thing. And I think that it's a wake up call for a whole a lot of people who would never thought that they would see anything like this happening in the 21st century. The fact that there is still racism in this modern day is absolutely mind-boggling. So we need you to just really think about, what's really happening. Do you Would you really want something from somebody that's jealous of you? Would you really take something from somebody that is jealous of you? Would you really do that? It's like, who is getting what's going on here? Excuse me. Trying to see who is dinging my door. Oh, okay. My alarm is going off. Um, all right, sorry about that. Like really, like if this was like somebody who you thought was your friend, and then you found out they weren't your friend, would you take something from them? If you knew that they didn't have your best interests at heart, and that you knew that they were trying to destroy you, would you really take something from them? I wouldn't. I'll be like, cool, you can keep your little stuff. I'll figure out another way to get it. And I think that's what we need to do. We need to take a really serious, hard look at the fact that it's time for us to put our differences aside. It's time for us to put our differences aside, stand down, and come together. Now, as far as the Section 8 is concerned, it's just the same story. It's the same story. You are demonizing the people. These programs were made for your culture. And now that we are taking advantage of those and, you know, elevating ourselves, now you want to pull the rug out from underneath people, which is what I've been saying for years. I've been saying this. I think I started coming on social media like around 2017, 2018. And I kept telling you, stop coming on social media telling people how much money you're making. It is bad business practices. We are in a country where people, they don't want you to elevate. You've seen them, the history has told you that they've burned down the Wall Street that we built, and that was just only one. These communities were all over America. That was just the most popular one. So every time we begin to elevate and every time we begin to build up, they burn down. So why would you come on social media telling how much money you're making? And now you know what people are saying? I'm not making nowhere near as much money as I was making on TikTok. I wonder why. They've changed everything. And every time you start making money, what do? They change the algorithm. Why? Because they don't want you to make money. They do not want you to elevate. They don't. So, what you have to do, you have to come on. This is what I do. I come on social media and I talk about business. If you are in business, one of the things you should have is an accountant. Your accountant is going to tell you, do not tell people how much money you make because it's none of their business. It's not. And I know that, it's how you think you attract people, but we have to get away from the material side of it. There's a book called How to Sell to a Nigga. Why? Because they know that you're materialistic. They know that you want to look rich, but not be rich. Why do you think that a Steve Jobs will have five of the same outfits and wear them every single day? Why do you think that a Warren Buffett will be a billionaire, but still eat at McDonald's every single day. And if I'm not mistaken, still live in the same house. Why would you think that? Because it doesn't have anything to do with material things. We have to get away from following people who are subtly causing you to covet what they have. See my house, see my car. Most of the cars are leased, don't belong to them. Most of the houses, they got to keep grinding and hustling. When you use your gifts and talent, you don't have to hustle nobody. All you got to do is use your gifts and talents. And what does hustle mean? What does the word hustle mean? It means to scam. When you use your gifts and talents, you don't have to scam nobody. So we have to really rethink. It's time to rethink some things. It's time to connect the dots and really look at what's really going on. You are, you are with the people that hate you, and you're begging them for something that you have the ability to get for yourself. John Damon, what's the name of the book he wrote? The Power of Broke. Because when you don't have anything, that is the time that you are the most creative. Have any of you ever watched Undercover Billionaire? If you get a chance, watch it. It's a billionaire. What is his name? It's right on the tip of my tongue. But he wants to know, is the American dream still real? So he decides that he is going to take $100 and see if he could build $1 million company in 90 days. And it's different ones that take the challenge. Grant Cardone, he does the challenge. It's a few other ones that do it. $100. Why? Because when you don't have anything, that is when your creativity, that is when inventions are born. Out of necessity. They put us back in a place of necessity. And that is the time to shine. It's not the time to beg your oppressors for anything. I would not give them the satisfaction, even if they turned it back on. Don't even worry about it. You're going to pull the rug out from underneath me and then brag about a $300 million ballroom that you're building when you can't even dance. And then you're going to say donors gave you the money. For what purpose? What purpose would donors give you money, to United States money, for a ballroom? Like, what purpose would that be for? Those are our tax dollars that you don't have no problem taking out of our checks, to do this. It is the cruelest thing I think I have ever seen. And then it's like when you go back and you see all the lies that were told, up until that point, up until that point. It's like, no, it's very concerning. I don't come on here as much as I should, but when I come on, I definitely have something on my mind and something to say. We have got to come together. And if we don't do it now, we're never going to do it, ever. It is time to really love your neighbor. It is time to make sure that, because if we pull all our resources, guess what? We got more than enough. And they did it with no warning. I can see if they did it and then they gave you a chance to prepare. They did it with no warning. Because this happens every single year. Federal government fiscal years in October, they go through the budget and then, they allocate the monies, they cut back on things. This is how business is done. But for you to give the people no notice, maybe like what, a couple of weeks notice, and right on the holidays are coming up. You got Thanksgiving coming up. Those of you that celebrate that, everybody don't celebrate it, but if you do, that's you. Got Christmas coming up. Like it is just blatant. Middle finger action. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like just I just want to just get the message out. Like I just want us to get it. I just want us to get it. And I just want us to really understand just how serious this really is. And who do you hear being upset about it? Who do you hear trying to do anything about it? And let me tell you this from working in the federal government. They go on holiday. Congress gives themselves raises. Congress has the best medical insurance on the planet. Congress is going to continue to get a paycheck. Okay, Congress is going to make sure, and this is who we vote in to make sure things like this don't happen. They're going on holiday unless they call a special session to vote on this thing. They're going on holiday. I doubt very seriously if they're coming back until January. Yeah. I hope that's not the case for a lot of people, but what do they care? They're going to eat. Remember when Kamala was running for president and she said it's going to be a dark winter? She just kept saying it's going to be a dark winter. This is the winter she was talking about. So they already knew what he was going to do. Come on, y'all. Don't fall for the fugazi. They already knew this was going to happen. Don't think that they are against each other. They're not. They're all in it together. They are all in it together. They don't care anything about our culture. What more do they have to do? Like the government is like being in a bad relationship. Have you ever seen a toxic relationship where you just want the woman to just, girl, pack your bags and get out? And she just keeps staying because she think that the man gonna change, and she think that if I just if I just love him more, and if I just lose weight, and if I just and if I just don't cause him any trouble, and things will change and things will get better, and year after year after year after year after year, things don't get better. All she's doing is just wasting her time that she can't get back. And then she look up and she 94. Like we don't have time for that. Okay. They don't have to show us anything else. This is it. This is it. And it's like when I came in the house, I was just ready to take a shower and go to bed. And then I was like, no, because I've been wanting to make this video for like a little minute. Because I don't hear anybody talk. I don't hear anybody. I just hear people being upset. We cannot give 27 doctors came together and studied the behaviors of this president and decided that he was a malignant narcissist. So if you don't know anything about narcissism, that's the worst one. There's no low they won't go. They are capable of just about anything. All of this because of the Epstein list. Oh, while he was running for president, he was going to release the names. Now he's not going to release the names because his name is on the list. Do you think he's going to tell on himself? No, he's not. He's not going to tell on himself. And I'm just like praying, please don't give in to this. Don't let them have their programs. I will create y'all some more. That's what I do for a living. Let them have those programs because the policies are created against you. The policies are created to trap you. As soon as you start working, they take all your benefits away. They take your daycare away, your Medicare away. How are you going to be self-sufficient? The only way that you can become self-sufficient is if you go to college, get a degree, maybe, or start a business and make more than minimum wage. You need to find out what is the poverty level. I remember when I first got to Annapolis, because Annapolis is expensive. All that whole area, Maryland, DC, Virginia, the whole area, the cost of living is high. At that time, when I moved to Maryland, I think it was 2009. Yes, it was 2009. In order for you to be above or at the poverty level, you had to make $50,000 a year. And I mean, that wasn't difficult, but you have to find at least where the poverty level is and then target a job before over that so that you could have some money left at the end of the month so that you won't be living paycheck to paycheck. And you also, one of the things that we don't do is budget. Doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter how little money you make. You should always have a budget. You should always give your money an assignment. Know where it's ebbing and flowing. Know where it's going in and know where it's coming out. And I'm getting ready to do a series starting probably Sunday. No, I think I'm gonna start before Sunday because ain't no telling what's gonna be happening on Saturday. So I'm probably gonna do it probably Thursday, maybe, or Friday. Maybe Friday. I'll call it Financial Friday. So I'm gonna be having some really good information for you to be able to um in the economic downturn be your own bank. So and that's what it's going to be called, Be Bankable. And that's probably I'm think I'm going to start that Friday. I was going to wait till Sunday, but I think I'm going to do that on Friday because it's time for us to get educated. It's time for your financial IQ to come up because it's just really low. It's time for you to get some real information and because there is a way that you can mitigate a lot of the things that's coming your way if you have the proper plan in place. And a lot of times people don't have the proper plan. I would admonish you all, please stop coming on social media telling all of your business. Please stop coming on here because these are spy apps. Social media, those of you that follow me, social media was designed as a behavioral engineering platform, meaning they study your behavior so that they can control you. That's how they know what to do. And then they do these beta tests to see if what they implemented is going to work. And the beta tests start out small and they get bigger and bigger and bigger. So this is like an ultimate test. COVID was a beta test to see how much control do we have over them. Because innately, our culture, I can't speak for nobody else's culture. I do Black history on my own culture. Uh, ultimately, we're the it people. We are the chosen people. We are the celebrities. We are the true stars, and they know that. So they watch every single move that we make. And so we are really going to have to move like Harriet. We are going to literally have to go underground. And when you come on this app or any platform, you're going to have to exercise some decorum and you're going to have to exercise some discipline and not tell everything that you're doing, because a lot of the things, they're not new. I was talking to a financial advisor and they were saying, it's really good that you come on and you dispel the myths about business credit. They come on here, they lie about business credit. Business credit is just like personal credit. If you don't have any money coming in, you still won't be able to pay the bill. And so they just come on here just to make a quick buck, and they say whatever. But we are people, and me and my son today, he was like, we chase purpose. We don't chase money. We chase purpose, and the money will come. And so that's what I want us to be, a people that chases purpose, so that we can begin to elevate and close the wealth gap. Because one of the things that I do is I want to do, my goal is to erase, eradicate, and annihilate poverty, first in your mind and then in your wallet. Because as you can plainly see, having money doesn't make you rich, and not having it does not make you poor. We are looking at a billionaire who's poor. He is poor in character. He cannot be trusted. He has no integrity. He has no honesty. And he really has no leadership skills or ability. And so that is not someone that you want to follow. Or even if he comes on and says something, you can't even trust that what he's saying is even true. That's horrendous. And then he don't even try to hide it. At least the other ones, they kind of slick with it. He's right in your face with it. And I'm saying, open your eyes, open your mind. It is time to stand down. It is time to gray rock the government. It is time for us to come together. And it's also time to pull on the elders. That's where your wisdom is. You think that elders don't have anything to offer? Yes, they do. Your elders are very valuable. The seniors are very valuable. If anybody can lead us out of this, it is them. It's them. I was raised by my grandmother, and it was the wisdom of my grandmother that I still live by to this day. Because wisdom has no expiration date. I do not want us to go in them people's stores, steal their stuff. We really need to stop buying from all of these stores. We need to stop buying from all of them, because nothing that they really sell is good for you anyway. Nothing. And we need to start to patronize and buy from our own people. It's time. I'm praying, please come together. Pull the resources together. Time to have some barbecues and some parties, and just take turns. Like, get about 5 or 6 of your neighbors and say, okay, you cook on Monday, I'll cook on Tuesday, you cook on Wednesday, you cook on Thursday, you cook on Friday. Because why? Whatever food you have, you pull it together and you share. Oh my God. When they see that, they will think twice. They will think twice. I think it's just time. I think that I really believe that this is a blessing in disguise. I do. I believe that is because the crutches, they're all gone. And we're going to have to come together. And I'm praying that it brings us together. I'm praying that this horrible situation, this cruel and it's evil. It is cruel and it is evil. But it exposes how they really feel about us. You would rather starve innocent children than come to an agreement for the American people that you took an oath to serve. The president works for the people. Congress works for the people. The mayor, the city council, your state representatives, they all work for the people. But they get into office and they forget who they work for. And we need to fire all of them. Congress, get rid of all of them. Vote them all out. If you have never voted before, I'm going to come and do a series on that too, because you need to vote everything up to the president and everything down from the president. You need to be voting who is your congressperson. Do you know who your congressperson is? Do you know who your state representatives are? You need to know who your state representatives are, and you need to be writing them all kind of letters, and because you hired them. And if you hired them, you can fire them. And so, yes, I'm very concerned about it. I'm very concerned that you are demonizing the culture, the hypocrisy of it all for doing the exact same thing. Trump is the biggest welfare queen, a term that they coined for our culture. Elon is the biggest welfare queen. I ain't never scared, ever. The biggest welfare queen. And you're going to demonize people for subsidizing in an economy where the landlords charge 2 and 3 months just to move into a place, where most of the real estate has been bought up by corporations. They got the real estate on lock, so they could charge whatever they want to. They could put in there whoever they want to. It's like modern day redlining. Need to get rid of the HOA. Who are you to tell me what I can do and cannot do with my house? And you can literally lose your home if you don't pay your HOA dues. And some of them are straight nightmares to people. That should not be, because it was an organization created out of racism. Once the developer builds the house, what you worrying about what's going on with the house for? You built it, you sold it, goodbye. We don't need you regulating what we're doing and not doing, or can do or cannot do. We don't need to do that. Goodbye. It is time to step into your power. It's time for us to come together. And I want us to, I'm about to start a campaign. Let's gray rock the government. Because we don't have to abide by it. We don't have to feed into it, give into it. We don't. And when you gray rock a narcissist, you know what it does to them? It causes them to collapse because you're not giving them any energy. That's what they want. They're waiting for you to go and act a straight fool in the streets on November the 1st. Stay home. Stay home. The churches are on lock. They're, trying to galvanize and, get together as much food as they possibly can. Everybody that's really concerned about the children. Let's focus on making sure the children eat, the seniors eat. You can miss some meals. Yeah, you can miss some meals and back up from the table because it's time to fast. So they doing us a favor for real. So let's reverse this thing. Okay? And let's take our power all the way back and show them what they already know, what we're really made of. This is Sky Chase, cutting to the chase. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to come back in here every single day and talk to you until you get it through here. We can do this. We have done it. Look at your history. Read your history. We are a resilient people. We are beautiful people. We are a strong people. We are inventors. We can do this. We can come together and pool our resources for however long it takes, for however long it takes for this crisis to be over. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for listening.